Okay, we were in class today and our professor just goes, "We only have 3 classes left and I hope I'll be alive for all of them." What a mood! Wow, look at that view.
Definitely just getting a real feel for the city, and then that night we went out and got traditional pierogies, which were just absolutely amazing.
When we got out of class, we kind of just walked around the square and got a feel for the city a bit more. We found this really cool indoor beer garden and got to try some different fancy Polish beers.
We just explored all around the city and found a bunch of courtyards and little back places.
So yesterday we were all talking and we ended up having a conversation about books rather than movies, iPhones, or any other electronics, and it was great, and I realized that we're super nerds.
So my favorite part was just getting lost because you got to find so many new things.
One of my favorite things about the salt mines was seeing all the different cathedrals and chapels carved into the salt rocks itself. Had all these fancy chandeliers hanging from the ceiling that were made out of the salt crystal.
So one of the cool things that I really liked were the horse contraptions. So during that time period, they would lower horses down, and they had horses power these gears that would transport people and salt, and it was just really cool seeing how the machine worked.
So we went to Auschwitz and Birkenau today, and it was one of the most emotionally intense things I've ever done. There was a room full of hair, just that they had shaved off of people's heads, and they had thousands of pounds of hair. And they had a pond that was just full of cremated ashes. It was a very intense experience.
Up, we went on this chairlift, and it took us to the top of one of the tallest hills surrounding Budapest, and we got to see this incredible view through this post-rain fog.
So the House of Terror was really cool about the fascist and communist regimes in Hungary and a little bit of other parts of Europe, and then what happened during them. It was very symbolic in everything that they had, and the music there just really set the mood.
Okay, so we went to the opera. It was absolutely wild. At the end, all of us synced up our clapping during the curtain call for some reason. It was one of the best experiences, one of the best shows I've ever seen.
were trying to go into this tea shop, but instead we turned to the right and there was a free art gallery. So we went into the free art gallery and there was a lot of cool art.
Today we were walking across the bridge in Prague and we came across this guy with a snake, and I was just so excited over the snake that he told me I could hold it. So I did, and it was fantastic. I got a picture, but then after I gave it back to him, he wanted money. Just as a warning, don't take snakes from strangers.
My most memorable moment would be the Berlin dungeons.
We bought a jar of pickles and then we sat in the group chat, and then like not even like 2 seconds later we had 5 people knocking at our door to open the pickle jar. This drink and cruise that I went on with some of my friends in Budapest. We just got to see like all of the monuments and like the huge buildings like lit up at night, and it was just beautiful.
I was climbing St. Mary's and we climbed just in time to see the bugle player at the top do his thing.
It was when we were in Auschwitz 1 and we walked into one of the exhibits and there was all of the hair that was shaved and cut off of the victims, and it was so impactful because it was just like a mountain of hair and you could really grasp what really happened, and that was like definitely the most memorable thing.
For me, it was the same sort of experience, just standing where they had stood. It was really a heavy but important experience, I think, to have.
On the balcony on the 5th floor, and we watched the sun set.
And the guy came out and talked to us about like life and stuff, and we watched the sunset, and it was so cool.
And a French security guard yelled at me for having my phone in the terminal.
When Claire and I went to the outer defense wall in Krakow, and we met this man who was making earrings, and after we bought some earrings from him, he actually sat there and did our initials for us for free as a present.
Kartik ordering pizza and then saying "Przepraszam."
Said "Przepraszam" instead of "Dziękuję," so he said "excuse me" instead of "thank you."
I was going to the mounds and like overlooking the city of Krakow, and it was just really cool because it was after our classes were over, like we technically graduated from Jagiellonian, and it was just cool like getting together one last time.
It was the first time I was able to like navigate the tram system by myself, because it was just a nice moment of like, wow, I'm capable.
I got to go to a different church every weekend, and I got to hear the mass in different languages.
I went to a restaurant with a couple of people, and then we got the soup, and we were like, wow, this is really good. We enjoyed it. It was very filling. We were ready for apple pie because we were already kind of full. And the waiter, instead of bringing out apple pie, brings out an entire platter of what was actually the stew, actually the goulash.
The chairlift in Budapest, because we got to see like the like rain clouds disappearing on the horizon.
It was in Budapest, right? So like it was really city-like. Then we went to sort of this like mountainside.
trying to find this chairlift, and it made us talk to locals, people who were from out of the country, and it was just a really cool experience just getting there.
Playing trivia at night with everyone in the group in a bar in Krakow. We filled half the bar.
All of the bus trips in between our weekend trips where we were all working on essays and all like messing around.
It was the first time we had a bird's eye view over Prague because it was absolutely beautiful and I could have just stayed there forever.
So the biggest difference between the States and Europe is that there is no Diet Coke in Europe. There's only Coke Light or Zero, and they are not the same thing. The cities are a lot cleaner, as in comparison to New York City. You don't just see trash lying around, and also the printer paper is a lot longer.
That weird size printer paper, I never got used to it. People are a lot nicer.
Because people spend so much more time at restaurants in Europe.
People in Europe seem to be a lot more energy conscious.
Our oldest buildings are like their newest buildings.
People's lack of spatial awareness.
In the United States of America, there are free bathrooms.
You have to pay for the bathroom.
Oh, we have to pay for the trash bags or the plastic bags at the store.
It was definitely the transportation.
Public transportation in Europe, so much better than in the US.
There's not as many people just sort of come up and have conversation with you. Most people usually keep to themselves.
I miss the vegetables in the United States. I haven't had carrot in so long.
The bathrooms here are a lot nicer and they don't have those like 2-inch gaps between the stall doors.
Every experience seems to be made for a smaller group of people.
People don't put their dogs on leashes. They're just so well trained that you don't even have to.
So the one difference that I noticed between the United States and all of Europe basically was ice cream flavors. So there was a lot of vanilla, there were a lot of creams, a lot of peaches, a lot of light flavored ice cream flavors. There weren't a lot of caramels or, coffee, chocolate, latte type of flavors, you know what I mean?
My favorite Polish word is Nastrovia.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
My favorite word in Polish is probably mówię.
My favorite Polish word is cześć.
Cheshed. Is cheshed.
Chest.
My favorite Polish word was przepraszam.
Przepraszam.
My favorite Polish word is talk.
Alright, my favorite Polish word is dziękuję.
Dziękuję.
Is dziękuję.
Dziękuję.
Is dziękuję.
I would say the most important thing I learned is that during World War II, it wasn't just Germany that sent people to the concentration camp. Hungary would send the Jews and the disabled and the homosexuals. They would just send them off.
Pay attention to how your government treats its minorities because the Jews didn't just get thrown in the concentration camps right away. There were signs beforehand.
To be more open to people because I didn't really know a lot of people, even the person I went with on this trip.
The tale-old lesson of not judging a book by its cover, because I think coming into a trip that was all honor students, you kind of think it'll go one way, but I think the people on the trip are a lot more complex and really interesting and cool than I imagined that would be.
Everyone on this trip was so nice.
The biggest part is just to not be afraid to go out and explore and go out of your comfort zone because you're always going to find your way back and you're going to find some super cool things.
Just the overall understanding that human experiences can be universal.
The political climates of the countries we visited.
It's really nice to just kind of go with the flow and find some small thing. You interact with the town in a really intimate way.
So I learned a whole bunch in the Underground Museum of Krakow, which is basically the old trading hall that they had. So they knew what they were doing. They had great sewage systems, and it was so cool to see the archaeology behind it.
I am able to travel to other countries and navigate and feel comfortable.
I learned that I can do things by myself without, freaking out.
Was that I can be independent and just kind of go with the flow with things, and that I was able to go abroad and not cry every day.
I learned how difficult it can be being a foreigner in a different place, and I learned not to take anything for granted, even the small things.
A smile and speaking clearly and being kind can get you a lot farther than anything.
What I kind of experienced at Auschwitz, getting to everything that we learned there through our tour guide and just through seeing everything.
Is that there is always time, there is always money, and there is always enough room in your stomach for ice cream or gelato.
There is a lot more that we don't know about other cultures than what we do know.